The Eminence in Shadow Season 2, Episode 8, aka Episode 28 overall, The Dragon's Tears. So this episode kind of confused me at first because as I was watching it, I was like, I don't recall any of this happening. And it's because this is actually a anime original episode. This doesn't happen in the manga, doesn't happen in the light novel. This is completely original to the anime. And it is basically the Eminence in Shadows version of the beach episode, where you just get nothing but a bunch of fan service. So the entire episode is basically Sid's friends. I put friends in quotation marks because they're not really acting like friends in this episode. But Skel and Poe go into Sid's room and they see 6 tickets for a hot springs. And they decide to steal the tickets and try to get some of the Mitsugoshi girls to go with them. One thing I found kind of funny was that we saw the mundane man's mask like just above Sid's bed, and they don't even seem to notice it whatsoever. But yeah, they steal the tickets. They take it to Mitsugoshi, where Nu sees them, and she gets super pissed off because she knows that those tickets were given specifically to Sid, and so she's questioning them, asking them how they got the tickets, and they BS their way through and basically said that their friend Sid gave it to them. So Nu takes this information, goes into the back where the Shadow Guard members have a meeting, and they believe that Sid gave the tickets to his friends because he wants 3 of the Shadow Garden members to come, and this might be like some kind of secret meeting that they're going to have. Like, this is Sid's way of saying, hey, I need you girls to get together. There's something I got to tell you. When the truth is that Skel and Poe just stole it so that they can try to lose their virginity. So then we just have this whole thing where like there's like a huge argument about which 3 girls are going to go. And Delta, of course, being the best girl, is like, I'm going on a date with the boss. I'm going on a date with the boss. Like, everyone's like fighting amongst each other. And she's like, I'm going to be going on a date with the boss. So eventually Shadow Guard members get kicked out, except for the original 6, and they decide to settle it with a battle. Or at least, that's what it seems like. Like, you see them, like, cracking their knuckles, the other members are, like, locking them in. So it seems like there's going to be, like, this huge battle, and it turns out to just be rock, paper, scissors. And the winner is Beta, Delta, and Zeta. And, yeah, they show up at the hot springs with Skel and Poe. They question Skel and Poe about where Sid's at. They BS again and say that he's running late, but he'll be here later. And basically, this kind of turns into like a fan service episode where we just see the girls in bikinis doing their thing, playing volleyball, swimming, whatever. And Skel and Poe keep trying to get involved, but they keep getting rejected because the girls want nothing to do with them. And throughout this, we're getting told like this story about the Dragon Tears and the Hot Springs Land and stuff, and how it came to be. And how it came to be is that a long time ago, when they were younger, Sid was basically with them in the middle of nowhere. It's like the snowy winter wasteland. And he explains this thing about dragon tears or whatever, and that I want you to dig a hole in this area and find some buried treasure. And then he leaves. He's just BSing. There's nothing there. But he's just playing up his chuny act. And so the girls start digging. And they're like, what are we supposed to be finding here? And that's when I believe it's Edda. She discovers a hot springs. And so they think, oh, maybe that's what Sid wanted us to find, the hot springs. There's got to be something special about this hot springs, right? And then there's this like whole story about how there was this princess and she befriended a dragon. And, they became best friends, constantly hanging out. And then one day the dragon went away for just a little bit. And it happened to be that this war broke out, and when the dragon came back, the kingdom was like completely destroyed, and he sees the princess who's pretty much dying, or I'm assuming dead. They say that like she's dying, but then they say her lifeless body, so either she's dying or she's dead. And the dragon is like upset, and he asks the princess, let's go flying one more time. And tears drip from her lifeless body. And then the dragon starts crying. And they believe that this is like what the whole dragon's tears thing is. Like the kingdom gets flooded, and that's how the hot springs was created. Yeah, it basically, we just again get tons more fan service. We get a moment where we have Beta, Delta, Zeta, naked in the women's side of the hot springs, and Poe and Skel are on the other side. They're on the men's side of the hot springs, and there's like this divider between the two. And of course, Poe and Skel are trying to climb up it because they want to check out the girls naked. But as they're trying to climb up, Shadow Guard members activate this like device, and basically what it does is it's like pepper spray. It pops out of the walls and it sprays Poe and Skel in the face, and like their eyes start burning and they start crying, and basically they sense a little hint of magic when that happens. So they're like, I wonder if we can like recreate that. So Delta, being the best girl, starts messing with the machines again, and she just starts pepper spraying the shit out of Skel and Poe. But they realize that nothing is happening. And then that's when they realize, well, the tears have to be from a princess, right? And Beta's going around constantly calling herself an elven princess. So let's get Beta to cry. So they activate more devices, which basically sends out like a bunch of these like tentacles that kind of just wrap up Beta in a provocative pose. And then they threaten that Ada threatens that she has this. It's basically like a laxative that she's going to shove up Beta's ass, and it's going to cause her to leak from every orifice of her body. And of course, Beta starts freaking out, and they basically just start telling Beta how useless she is and stuff. They're just like really mistreating Beta. They're just constantly talking about how terrible she is, how she doesn't do anything to help Shadow in any way, that she is nothing but a waste of space. And of course, she starts crying, and her tears activate the dragon. So it turns out the whole dragon situation is real, and the dragon erupts, and that's when we get this kind of cool callback where the girls transform into this like magical girl appearance that they had in the opening from season 1. So instead of wearing their like regular Shadow Garden disguises, because they don't want anyone around to know that Shadow Garden is involved, they instead transform into like this like kind of cool white uniform that we saw in the opening theme song from season 1. And they go and they just like fight the dragon. Delta is like, don't worry, I got this, and she just like charges at this thing and goes right through it because it's water. And then of course the other Shadow Guard members like leap into action, and Gamma joins the fray, but as she's jumping, she trips and falls on her face like she always does. And basically, they're able to defeat the dragon. And the dragon's spirit goes to Beta and just kind of like basically like rubs his face against hers and then leaves. And then that's when they discover like all this like this new like magic material. So now they have something that they can sell. So all the Shadow Guard members, like they scoop up all this new magical material and they start selling it. And then they are basically saying that, this is what Sid wanted all along. He meant for us to come here so that we can uncover the secrets of the dragon's tears. And now we have this new magical material that we can use to better Shadow Garden. We can use it to, to strain ourselves. We can use it to sell and make a lot more money. Basically, this is a huge boon for Shadow Garden, and it's all thanks to Sid's plans. Not realizing that Sid has no idea that Skel and Poe were going to come into his room and steal his tickets. And basically that's kind of it. The girls are all happy and excited. Skel and Poe head back home, not being able to lose their virginity. And basically they're actually kind of excited because they believe that something great must have happened, because they have no memory of what went down. That's just because they got the shit kicked out of them by Shadow Guard members. But they believe that something big happened to transform them from boys to men, and that's why they lost their memory. So they're like super excited, and they think that, all right, this is us going on our journey to become men and lose our virginities. And yeah, it ends with them being really excited. So that's pretty much it. So the entire thing is just a big fan service kind of beach episode. And Sid doesn't appear whatsoever. There's really no action. I guess you could say the girls fighting the dragon, but it's not really them fighting the dragon. They just kind of like leap at it and it's kind of done. So it's just a big fan service comedic kind of episode. I thought it was okay. I'm not one of those people that's opposed to fan service. I got no problems with fan service whatsoever. It was nice to see Best Girl Delta. It was also nice to see Zeta, because I absolutely love Zeta as well. Basically, Dog Girl and Cat Girl are like the best girls in this, outside of Diablos. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know. I felt like it basically is filler episode. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just okay. I guess I guess it's maybe a nice break in between two arcs. So I'm assuming the next arc is gonna be the one where, well, I don't know if I want to spoil it. If it's the arc that I'm thinking it is, there's like one of my favorite moments in the entire series, and I won't really spoil too much. I'll just say that in that arc, Beta discovers social media, and it is freaking hilarious. And I'll leave it at that, assuming that that's what the next arc is, which I think it is. But yeah, this was an okay episode, I guess. Not something you want to watch with family around, because like I said, it's just nothing but a bunch of fan service. So yeah, if you want your fan service episode, here you go. This is it. So there you go. There's the Eminence in Shadow Season 2, Episode 8, Episode 28 overall, The Dragon's Tears. Pretty much just a fan service, beach episode, filler, anime exclusive. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later.